from Hollywood and the four corners of the world. You asked for it. Starring Rich Little. Here's the star of You Asked For It, Rich Little.
Thank you, and welcome to the only show on television that takes you anywhere in the world just because you asked for it. Tonight from Taiwan, the awesome power of Kung Fu. Daring roller skaters risk their lives from the top of a moving car. Ronald Reagan joins George Washington and Abraham Lincoln in the Hall of Presidents, and much, much more. But first in our show, we travel halfway around the world to the island of Taiwan, as Jack Smith tells us about masters of the ancient art of Kung Fu who can endure incredible amounts of pain and danger without injury. Now, thanks to a letter from Tony Terry of Willoughby, New York, our crew visited the Martial Arts Center in Taipei, where the Iron Men of Kung Fu practice skills that are as amazing as they are deadly. Watch this.
Rich, the term Kung Fu actually means a person who is talented in his field, but it's never been more evident than in these amazing feats of mind over matter you're about to see here in Taiwan. We begin with this man's unbelievable attempt to burst steel wires with nothing more than his breath, his bare skin, and intense concentration. The wires are wrapped around his chest and twisted until they bite deeply into his skin. Now, an untrained person trying this could suffer severe cuts or even broken ribs, so kids, don't try it. And now, hold your breath and watch. And now the question is, how much force can be exerted in a single blow using only the heel of your hand? Watch. Now for the ultimate test of a man's ability to endure pain and risk serious injury. All of these Kung Fu demonstrations show the inner power and concentration that enables its practitioners to summon almost superhuman strength to any task. And now, even this test of a man's endurance of pain will be pushed to its limits. The Kung Fu masters speak of meditation, breath control, and the power of life force known as Qi. It's a very convincing demonstration of mind over matter. You asked for it.
May we remind you that those stunts aren't tricks, but the culmination of years of practice and discipline. Being cut by glass or ripped apart by wire is no laughing matter. Don't try it. Next up on You Asked For It, a much lighter story, the fascinating birth of the light bulb.
And now back to Rich Little.
Thank you, John. Light bulbs, as we all know, are a common everyday household item. But have you ever wondered what goes into their manufacture? Well, Steve Gallagher of Port Angeles, Washington, certainly does. He wrote and asked us to explore the world of the light bulb. Now, it sounded like a bright idea to us, so Jack Smith shed some light on the subject because you asked for it.
The main assembly line in a light bulb factory is where all the parts come together. But you really can't start there because there's a lot that happens first. Now, most of us seldom get a chance to see what's inside a light bulb until we try to change one and end up dropping it on the floor. The little wire that's coiled up inside is called the filament. And it's made in a big room that looks like this. The filaments are made of tungsten wire that's about as thin as one of the hairs on your head. The machines coil it up once, and then take the coil and coil it up again. That way they end up getting 21 inches of wire into one 60-watt bulb. Now, once the filament is wound, it's only 5/8 of an inch long. And then somebody like Helga McCarthy has to look at each one of them and try to find the mistakes.
It's not a hard job. It's a very strange job for your eyes. You have to look constantly.
So that's how the filament gets to the assembly line. And from there, the machines take over, picking up each one and putting them on their mounts so that they can eventually get trapped inside those nice glass bulbs. And that's the other part of our story. It's pretty hard to believe that so few of these bulbs break, but actually they're pretty tough. It's also pretty hard to believe that they make these things today the same way they did 50 years ago. This is something called the ribbon machine at the Corning Glass Works. It makes the bulbs for light bulb factories by blowing air through a ribbon of hot glass. Something like the way you blow a bubble with bubble gum. The ribbon machine can crank up to 2,000 bulbs a minute, enough to keep the country lit up practically forever. So here we are, back on the line. The filaments are all ready, the bulbs are standing by, and everything's geared up ready to bring the two together. It takes a lot of fire and heat and noise to light up our living rooms. But when you see how fast it all happens, you can understand why light bulbs are plentiful and cheap, instead of being a luxury only rich people can afford.
Oh, this is Dean Martin. You know, those new light bulbs are amazing. Yeah, I screwed a light bulb in last week, and I was lit up for a week. You know, light bulbs are an American invention. Well, also, Jack Smith is an American invention, host of the original show. Jack told us the inside story of the light bulb. Well, now he's going to tell us about another exciting segment from the past. So here is Mr. Jack Smith.
Thank you, Rich. You know, these roller skates remind me that back in 1954, You Asked For It filmed one of the most exciting roller skating teams in the business, the Rolling Robinsons. Now, the Robinsons did all the usual stunts that we think of when we think of roller skating, but they had one specialty that made them stand out. They performed their tricks on the top of a moving car. Now, let's see this mile-a-minute skating rink in operation.
The Robinsons tell me this first stunt is called the ankle drop and spin. by one ankle, and that car is now moving about 30 miles an hour. Next, a thriller called an airplane turnover. There she goes. This one is called a one-arm spin. And into a rocket. Now watch Roberta swing out by 1 foot with one hand against Bob's toe. This is a toe hang. The car turns to go back, and the Rolling Robinsons get set for one of the most dangerous of all roller skating tricks. Doubly dangerous atop this moving car. Now, in this stunt, Roberta's head comes within inches of the platform in a high-speed spin. No wonder that's called suicide. But the Robinsons can top it. Here's a 2-foot neck hang, hanging by the toes only behind Bob's neck. Now watch this, with the car moving even faster, 1 toe only. The Rolling Robinsons, truly a breathtaking act. You asked for it.
Death-defying skaters because you asked for it.
You know, they can do anything, Jack, except go through a car wash.
Well, that's true. I hadn't thought of that.
Can you imagine sniffing your way into the Hall of Fame? That's what you'll see next at the Great English Snuff-Sniffing Champion Sniff-Off.
And now back to Rich Little.
What is this man doing? Spreading gossip? Checking the table for gravy stains? Squashing ants? No, he's trying to come up to snuff in the Great English Snuff-Sniffing Competition. We flew Dale Haramoto to Wellington, Somerset in England because Francis Cole of Hillsborough, Ohio, you asked for it.
We've asked England's top snuffers to try to trim their sniffing times, especially for You Asked For It. The time to beat is 49 seconds. And for those who know their snuff, that's nothing to sneeze at.
But as the crowd gathers and the stewards take their places, it's obvious I just don't understand. There's even a medical team standing by. Snuff is heady stuff, a powerful stimulant. Too much too fast has been known to cause heart attacks. So, what's so great about snuff?
We put a circle on the back of the contestant's hand. And that ensures that all the stewards then put the snuff inside of that circle as near as they can. Lovely. No penalty point.
Oh, as far as I'm concerned, 1 snuff's more than enough.
The snuff is ready, the stewards are ready, the medical team is ready, and the first sniffer is in place. On your mark, get set, sniff. The encouragement of the crowd helps. May Pope comes from a family of snuff champions. Her husband, Jack, is last year's British champion, and her son, Larry, is the current world champion. And now here's our world champion, Larry Pope, to show us how it's done. Larry's record is 49 seconds. That's the time he's trying to beat. 39 seconds, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44 seconds, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. Larry ties his record. He's still the champion.
Congratulations. Well done. Good show. I'm Dale Harimoto with Larry Cox, the world's best snuff sniffer, because you asked for it.
Yes, folks, Larry Cox won it by a nose. His prize was 20 pounds of snuff, and they gave it to him in a snifter. And Larry said after, "I will sniff no snuff before it's time." Dare us to do the impossible around the world. If you want to see daredevils, risk-takers, or death-defying feats, challenge us and write care of, you asked for it, P.O. Box 1980, Hollywood, California, 90028. Imagine George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Teddy Roosevelt, and Ronald Reagan all in the same room discussing the nature of the presidency. Sound impossible? Well, at Disney World in Orlando, Florida, engineers have created a computer-controlled marvel that brings past U.S. presidents to life. Now, we're going to go behind the scenes to learn how this modern miracle works, because Jamie Snook of Elkton, Maryland, you asked for it.
Rich, the famous park attracts millions of visitors each year. The Hall of Presidents is one of the most popular features and one of the most inspiring experiences to be found in any amusement center in the world. For our exclusive behind-the-scenes look, we begin with the latest figure to be added to this gallery of the nation's leaders, President Ronald Reagan. It all starts here in the studio of sculptor Blaine Gibson in Glendale, California. Every effort is made to capture an authentic likeness based on all that can be known about each president's particular personality.
Whether this is because he's Irish or what, there's a certain tendency for him to seem like he could erupt into a smile spontaneously. And I tried to capture that there is an inner sense of humor there, and the eyes show it, and even though, as I said, the mouth can't be expressing it widely, I felt that if I could show that anticipation of a little smile, it would be worthwhile.
Every detail, down to the braids and buttons, is a replica of the period in which each president served. Research on President Reagan's suit included a visit to his tailor in Washington to check sizes, materials, the style of the president's clothes. When all the fabricating and fashioning is done, the figures of the presidents take their places in the theaters. With Ronald Reagan in place, all that remains now is the final magic touch of audio animatronics, the highly technical science which breathes life into the figures.
As a nation of free men, we must live through all time or die by suicide. Surely God would not have created such a being as man with ability to grasp the infinite, to exist only for a day. No. No. Man was made for immortality.
To honor the men who shaped and molded America's history. But no monument can equal the one the presidents and the people have created together, a strong, stable democracy in action called the United States of America.
And now back to Rich Little.
Well, that's our show for tonight. We'll see you next time on...
You Asked For It!
See you next time. Good night.